we will be talking about levels of Vak, or articulation. So Vak roughly means like speech. That's how you can think of it. And there are 4 layers. You start with Para. Para is transcendental sound. It is all cosmic data and information at a vibratory level. The next level is Pashyanti. Pashyanti is, to me, my favorite. It is about how essentially there is no difference between a symbol and its meaning, the way we understand it or make sense of it. And actually, when you really think about what complex algorithms our minds are running when we're taking a look at something like a pillow, and in your mind, you have to like kind of comb through what the concept of a pillow is. There's comfort, there's touch, there's a way you're thinking about it, right? So, something else, I guess, when you are on LSD, you're familiar with synesthesia or with shrooms. So how you're able to breathe colors or smell numbers is sort of the idea here. The next layer is Madhyama, which is the mental layer of sound. And these are just thoughts that you have in your head. So like if you're thinking, today is a really cool day, but in your mind you're thinking, today is a really cool day. We're going to just pretend like I wasn't saying that. So that would be at the Madhyama layer. The final layer is Vaikari. Vaikari is express speech, which is what I'm doing right now. What's fascinating about this too is the inversely proportional relationship between what's going on at the cosmic level. So like really intuitively think about it. As you are trying to get more specific to the point where it's something verbal that you can understand, there is something that gets lost, right? When you're explaining something to someone, oftentimes you will find yourself in some situations where you're like, now I don't have the words for this. So there's something more experiential, which is what's so fascinating, because when you're speaking, you're kind of channeling through of course, there's some part of your heart involved, experience, other things, but ultimately, as you're logically processing, you are channeling only one part of your intelligence to speak. So as you work backwards, you get a deeper and deeper intelligence when you go all the way back up to Para. Now, this may also be why people say, when you say something out loud, you lose more data. Something loses its efficacy. And the effort you must put in to speak, you're engaging with the Krebs cycle and respiratory system, right, to be able to replenish that prana, that life force, to be able to have that kind of communication. But you reserve a lot of that. And I think this is actually why silent retreats, I've done one before, why they can be so effective. Because what you're really trying to do is hit anahata, the unstruck sound. And there is such a concept in Nada Yoga as an inner ear. So you could even be listening to your own heart rate, your blood flow. And so what you are kind of trying to get yourself to do when you are engaging in practices of consciousness with consciousness tools itself, not tools of math and science, is that you are trying to find a way to fit into the geometry of the cosmos, specifically the geometry of the field of consciousness that you are very much an active part of. Like, yeah, you're just seeing me sitting here, but if we had different types of vision, perhaps we would be able to see what kind of signals our bodies are constantly giving off. At a deeper level, what kind of cosmic flow are our biofields in, and how are we fitting into them puzzle piece-wise? We spend a lot of time often speaking, and one thing I've personally noticed in going down more of a spiritual path, and I don't know, at some point you can't even name what it is anymore. It's not just spiritual, and it's not just scientific. It's just being cosmic. You really are being one with the cosmos. I have personally noticed it doesn't just feel like there's a lot to talk about anymore. It feels like, what is there to discuss? And sometimes it feels like talking requires so much energy, which is very strange for someone like me. Those who know me at a personal level know how much I like to talk 24/7. But there is something about the inception of wisdom that comes from within, where that energy that's totally used here is kind of being used everywhere, right? Because you're sort of backtracking a bit. Yeah. So, especially at the Pashyanti layer, where it's more life as a metaphor, life is art, symbol and physical meaning are one. You find yourself feeling more poetic, thinking more symbolically, living more metaphorically as well. Life becomes an artwork, and you are like one piece of that puzzle. The sounds that we produce, the noise that we're in all the time, I mean, even like just something as simple as going to the gas station, there's advertisements now. There's constant noise happening all the time, right? The purpose of sound is to take us to our own silence. When we go into this silence and stillness, all the secrets of the universe become revealed. Stillness is where we can hear things from subtler levels. We connect more with para. So just something to think about. It doesn't mean you need to really stop talking, but maybe we can ask ourselves why we're so uncomfortable with going for a walk without listening to music. Why can we not do that? Why do we need to leave the TV on to help us go to bed? What is so difficult about being entirely by ourselves with inner sound? And I'll give you a hint. It's not that there is the darkness within. It's that we do not equip people with the tools to transmute that energy, right? A lot of us have a lot of gunk, speaking as someone with that herself. So it's really important that not only do we understand layers of reality at a cosmic level, but we understand what it means to have speech and articulation. Speech is the mode with which we are taking cosmic data and channeling it. This is why I keep insisting that consciousness is not an emergent property of the mind, but rather fundamental, and our brain is just filtering that. And based on how we're filtering from para to pashyanti, like conceptual, madhyama, all the way to vaikari, is that filtration process in action. I think it's so great that we have this sort of wisdom. And I think it's increasingly important now more than ever, especially when you see, with deep fakes, anything that can exist out there, how much noise it's going to try to put into your own mind. Do you know who you are in the silence? Do you know who you are in your self-concept without other people telling you who you are? Those are the types of questions we begin to learn how to answer when we decide to look within, go within stillness, and become sovereign beings. Because I don't know about you, but if I can't find peace unless something else is putting noise in my brain, then I still don't have power over my own consciousness, which is exactly what a lot of media wants for us.